Hey, today is that day that we put a focus on our spiritual life so that you are going to be refreshed, you're going to be encouraged, you're even going to gain some direction today, but you're not going to get it necessarily from me or even from yourself, but you're going to get it from something so much more powerful than you and me. And I believe today is a day that we both actually need this. Do you want to succeed greater in your finances? Do you want to succeed better at work? What about in your personal relationships? Today, we're going to actually open the best success book ever written, which I call, it is called the Bible. I call it the best success book ever written because every book that's been written about communication, finance, business, or any kind of success or personal development book, really all the principles have come out of this book. So to me, I rather just go straight to the source. So much better than trying to weed through other people's opinions about it. So we're going to start in the book of Proverbs, which was written, by the way, by the wealthiest man who's ever lived the earth. They've calculated all of his riches and have found that nobody on the earth today and nobody since then has ever been as wealthy or as powerful as this man, King Solomon. So we're going to read Proverbs 21 today. It is going to actually help to guide you for work as well as relationships. So let's just go ahead and start from chapter 21, verse 1. It says this. It says, the sovereign's heart is as channels of water in the hand of Yahweh. He turns it wherever he wishes. By the way, I want to tell you that I'm reading from the version called the Scriptures. This actually keeps the name of God in the passages, and it also keeps all the Hebrew names in Hebrew versus translating them in English. And so every single time that God's name actually turned up in the original Hebrew text, which the book of Proverbs was written in Hebrew, his name actually shows up in Hebrew. So that's why it says Yahweh in my Bible, but it says like God or Lord in yours. So anyway, so it says this, so that, look at that. The sovereign's heart is as channels of water in the hand of Yahweh. Wow. Okay, listen. So he's the king, right? He's the king. He's the leader. You are a leader. If you are a mom, you're leading your children. If you are a husband, you're leading your family. If you are a business person, you're leading a company, an organism, an organization, a firm. If you are in management, you are leading a people. Even if you're an entry level in your job, you are leading the influence of those that are around you. So you have influence wherever it is that you go. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. Everyone has leadership and influence. And so I love what he says here. The sovereign's heart is as channels of water in the hands of Yahweh. Man, is that how you see yourself? Have you poured yourself out to your Father in heaven, to the creator of all the heavens and the earth? Have you given your whole self over? It looks like this, that Solomon is saying that my heart is channels of water. Whoo! That's like incredible. Think about that. That means that he has given himself over to the creator of the heavens and the earth, so much so he's saying, go ahead and lead me. Go ahead and push me in the direction of where you want me to go. Channels of water. Direct me. I'm just going to flow with whatever direction it is that you are going. Friend, listen to me. When we are in any kind of leadership, we have a tendency to kind of go on the side of control. Kind of good to go on the side of trying to control people, control how they think. I remember as a mom, always being afraid that my children someday would hate me. And I think it's because I hated the man that raised me. So I think I feared that I would be hated. And now, mind you, I am not my stepfather. I did not abuse, molest, emotionally abuse, mentally abuse, spiritually abuse my children. However, for some reason, there still was like this thing in my head that just one day that I would be abandoned by them, that they would want nothing to do with me. And they're the greatest people. Like, that's not who they are at all. But the bottom line is this, is that I found myself that because I had that fear, I had a fear, let me take my kids out of the equation. I had a fear of people abandoning me. I had a fear of people rejecting me. I had that terror, and I'm telling you, it's debilitating, right? It's something like that goes through your head constantly, and it even robs your sleep, and it actually controls your decisions. And so when I lived like that, I found myself not wanting to hear if someone had a bad opinion of me, and I wanted to control how people saw me. So I only presented the side of myself that I wanted people to see versus just like letting it all hang out and just, when I make a mistake, just like man, I messed that up. I keep screwing that up. Or being really forthright with what my failures were. And what I found when I started to just be really honest with myself and honest about what my fears were, and I began to confess what my weaknesses were and thank God for the strengths that he had given me, I started to realize that everyone has weaknesses. Everyone has weaknesses. And weaknesses just are. They just are. They're not something to try to hide. They're not something to kind of, put in a corner or pretend like they're not there. They just are. Weaknesses, everyone has them. These are what mine are. And, you have yours. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just, this is a weakness, and we all have them. And so what I love about this whole thing about the king, the leader, his heart is like channels of water in Yahweh's hands. This is like a full surrender. It's like a full trust. All of my weaknesses and my strengths, as well as every one of my relationships at work and every one of my relationships at home, that God, I trust you. I trust you with everyone that is around me. I trust you with my finances. Come on, listen to me. I trust you with my health. Are you hearing me? I trust you with my career, my work, my business. I trust you with the people that I'm working with. I trust you with disasters, and I trust you in the time of blessing. Do you know what comes out of that? A full release. It's a letting go of trying to control people's mouths, trying to control people's opinions, trying to control people's motivation, trying to control people's vision. It's a full release of not controlling even the finances, trying to control our president. God, help us. Not trying to control our government. Are you hearing me? That when I love this. I'm telling you, it's the first time I've ever seen this. That the sovereign, the leader's heart is like channels of water in Yahweh's hands. There's something so powerful with living a life of release. Release. There's peace in that release. I want you to think of channels of water. And I want you to look at your heart. Is your heart like a channel of water? Or is your heart dammed up? Is your heart a dam that stops the water from flowing? Is your heart a wall, a thick, powerful wall that says, you're not coming in and I ain't going out because you screwed me over? Because you don't think the way I think. Because you don't dress the way I think you should dress. Because you don't talk the way I think you should talk. Because you don't support my idea. Because you don't support or give me recognition as much as I think I need it. Because you don't pay me what I think I should be paid. So is your heart a dam? A big, huge cement wall? Perfectly engineered to stop a river from flowing? A channel of water from flowing? Or is it a channel that's going to flow with the Spirit of the living God who controls all things anyway? Are you going to allow your heart to be movable, to be flesh? Or is it like stone that's immovable, that's stubborn, that's constantly trying to convince people to think a certain way, to be a certain way, to act a certain way? If your heart is like a dam, people can't get in from the other side, and you're not letting yourself out of this prison. Distrust is a prison. It is not a place where love flows. It's not a place where peace flows. It's not a place where blessing flows. It's not a place where favor straight from heaven flows. So tear the dam down and let your heart be a channel Let your heart be a channel. I know it's scary, isn't it? I know it's like, no, wait, Danny, if I tear that dam down, if I allow my heart to be a channel in the hand of Yahweh, I'm gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get hurt again. I'm going to get disappointed. I'm going to get stabbed in the back. I know I'm going to be stolen from again. I know I'm going to be taken advantage of again. I know I'm going to be looked over instead of looked at. I know I'm going to be neglected again. I know that I'm going to regret it, Danny, if I tear the dam down. I just know that it's just too scary, because what if it all goes wrong, and what if I fail again? Yeah, what if I trust him and I fail in my business? What if I choose trust instead of choosing stress? I just know that if I don't control things, then things won't happen. Friend, control is such a facade, if you think about it. Control is such a facade. Really think about it. Can you control your spouse? With all the manipulation that you have available to you and all the manipulation that your parents taught you when you were a little kid, all the manipulation that you've learned from our society, from the shows that we're watching, the music that we're listening to, politics, like that's straight up manipulation. That's like manipulation 101. You want to learn how to manipulate? Watch politics. The news, like all the news, the major news media, it's all straight up public manipulation. So we have been manipulated so much that we use these manipulative tactics that say, well, as long as you do this, then I will do this. And if you go 2 miles, then I'll go 2 miles. But if you don't go 2 miles, I'm not doing anything with you. Okay, listen. And if you don't act right, then I will not love you. But if you treat me right, then I will love you. And treating me right is according to my rules, not according to the Bible. Listen, I know it's scary. Oh gosh, do I know it's scary to trust? Friend, I have been screwed over so many times. I've been lied about so many times. I've been falsely accused so many times. I've been stabbed in the back so many times, and so have you, right? You and I could sit down and we could compare notes, and you and I could sit and we could cry together, and we could get angry together. We could, punch a wall together because of all that is behind us. But if we want to embrace that which is in front of us, that larger territory that's in front of us, friend, if we want to move ahead and experience the fullness of peace, the fulfillment of peace, then we must, I'm going to say it again, we must make the choice right now. That is my heart going to be a dam where I can't get out and no one can get in? Or am I going to be like a channel of water in the hands of Yahweh? You have to come to a place at some point where you make the choice to release and to flow with His Spirit. And or you're going to be like one of those bitter old people that is alone. You'll be like one of those bitter old people that the family does abandon and neglect. You'll be like one of those bitter old people that people just tolerate. And I want to ask yourself right now, are you already that person? Are you already there? And if the answer is yes, then friend, it's time to change. And it's time to change today. And it's time to change now. You are not called to have a heart of stone. You are not called to be the pharaohs of the world. You are not called to be a dictator. You are not called to be bitter and resentful and unforgiving. You are called to a much higher calling than that. And you are called to live as King Solomon says right here, that the heart of the leader is like channels of water, in the hands of Yahweh. Just imagine what could happen if you chose to trust. If you chose, I want you to imagine, have you ever been inner tubing on a river? We live in Texas. They got lots of rivers here, and tubing is like a really big thing. And literally, hundreds of thousands of people during the summer get into a tube that has a cooler attached to it, and they just sit in the tube and they go with the flow of the river. There's something beautiful about that. You will become a safe place for other people. And when you become a safe place and you choose trust instead of stress, when you choose trust and you allow yourself to go with the flow of the Father, people feel safe around you. People feel like they can trust you. People feel the peace that you bring. This is where inspiration flows. This is where you will have vision. This is where you will be a carrier of peace in the marketplace and a carrier of peace at home. That you don't get all caught up with everybody else's anxiety and stress and worry. But now you are a source for people to say, wow, they got something and I really want it. So today, make the choice, friend. Make the choice today to choose, yes, to have your heart be, yes, like a channel of water in the hands of Yahweh. And then I want you, to write me and tell me how you're doing that at work, how you're doing that at home, how you're doing that with your finances. Because somebody else needs to rejoice when they see the miracle that's happening in your life. He's going to raise you up. He's going to have you influence more people when you choose to let your heart be like a channel of water in his hands. Thanks so much for joining us today. God bless.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DannyJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Danny Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.